Happy New Year, my PAC family. Instead of us working on picking a day and a location to have an in-person orientation, I've decided that a video orientation is the best way to go. So please watch this. I don't care if it's 2 in the morning or at 2x speed on YouTube, but I need you to watch it. And then in the email that this link was sent to you in is another link for our waiver. It goes over policies, rules, that kind of thing. And then there's a few questions about this video to make sure that you understand things and that you watched it. It helps me, it helps us all know what to expect. And if you have any questions, as always, please reach out. Friends, this road right here is Renner Road. That way is George Bush. That way is 75. You can come in. This is our entrance for CoOp. You can either pull up, get your wagons and supplies out, or you can park. But either way, this entrance number 1 is our entrance for CoOp. That is where, now you can park all the way down here, but I will show you in a minute. There is a blue line right about where my finger is. And on the other side of that blue line, we do not park. They rent it out to construction companies. So don't park on the other side of the blue line. I'll show you what that is. You can park as far down there as you want. And you can park on the other side of the church and walk around if you really feel so inclined. The line in the parking lot is blue, but here it's shown by red. We can park in the red areas, and when you're actually in the parking lot, the line across the parking lot is blue, and you don't park on the other side of that blue line. They rent it out to construction companies and such. That whole yellow area is completely usable space for us for any of our outdoor classes. Okay guys, I wrote a lot of this out so that I don't forget anything. I'll put the schedule up in a minute, but in an ideal world, this is how the morning will go. We will arrive between 10 a.m. and 10 a.m. and 10:10. If you are not a setup morning helper, please keep your kids with you for that little bit, and you'll mainly be in the atrium, unless you're putting stuff into a classroom and then going to the atrium. At 10:10, we will begin our short morning meeting and class dismissal. So this semester we'll have signs for each class, and an aide or float will hold up those signs for the kids to gather, and then they will be led to their classroom for first hour. As you can see here on the schedule, we have 5-minute passing period between hour 1 and hour 2, and another 5-minute passing period between hour 3 and 4, with 50-minute class periods and a 50-minute lunch. I'll explain some other things on the schedule here in a little bit. This semester we have name badges. I've made them. They have their first and last names on them for adults as well as children, all the way down to the 5-year-olds class. Preschool classes through babies will have the sticky, like the stick-on name tags that we use to Obstacle Warrior. First hour is when the name badges will be passed out. So they will be handed to either a first hour float or a first hour aide, and that's when they'll be passed out in the classes. And then 4th hour, they will be collected by an aide or a float. The name badges will stay at CoOp so that we all have one less thing to remember in the mornings, and keep track of. So that's how the name badges will work. And entrance door, entrance number 1. This is the stairway for anybody. This is the stairway we're using. This is where we enter. We will come into this room for our morning meeting. This is the atrium. Okay, so some PE classes are in here later in the day. We will just slide the tables up against the wall and you will have all this floor space. For our morning meeting, most kids will just sit on the floor. We'll have our short meeting and we'll disperse from there. This room, as you can see now, why we will not be doing balls if we have to have PE indoor. No balls. These are little lights streamed across, but you can do relays and running games and different things like that. After first hour is done, one of the aides in the first hour classrooms will take the kids to their second hour location. This will happen for all the ages, probably 10 and younger, at least until the kids know their schedule. I think the younger ones will be walked to their class every week just to make sure that they get there. So one aide needs to go ahead and make sure that that happens. And I do suggest at least one aide in each classroom set an alarm on their phone for the ending time of their class, just so, you know, maybe give yourself 5 to 8 minutes to set an alarm so that you know, oh, class is over in 5 to 8 minutes, so things can wrap up and they can get to their next class on time. We're not in a venue where I can just blow a whistle or get on a microphone or scream. So that's going to be something that the aides in each room can really help with, and the floats each hour. If you notice, hey, this classroom isn't wrapping up, you walk by and you see this class isn't wrapping up, and maybe you can pop your head in and remind them, hey, class is almost over in 5 minutes, kind of thing. Now to talk about lunch. As before, you can have lunch delivered. Have your delivery people come to entrance 1, and that won't be unlocked, but that's where they can be, and you can have an aide or a float or yourself look for your food delivery. You can also go off campus for lunch, or if you need to, you can run and go buy lunch, or just bring your lunch. It's totally up to you. We will not be allowing lunch in every single room. So on the map, on the next slide, I will circle where we can have lunch and that kind of thing. If the weather is nice, we will have a recess outside. You can eat inside and then go outside, or just eat outside. There's some picnic tables. There's plenty of field space for a picnic outside. But if the weather is yucky and rainy and wet, then we will eat inside, and recess will be game schooling, which is why none of the age groups have a game schooling class this semester. Weather is super unreliable in January through March, so none of the classes have a game schooling class. And if we're having indoor lunch, bring some games, board games, card games, that kind of thing, and kids can divide up and have game schooling for lunch. The youth center is where kids in the 13 and up classes can eat lunch together, and I have a video about that specifically later. If we're having outdoor lunch, my lunch recess helpers, it would be best if you eat lunch outside, but there needs to be recess lunch helpers outside already at the playground if kids are going to be outside at the playground. Also, like at Obstacle Warrior, nobody is allowed to eat in a room where there's not an adult. So if a bunch of kids are outside eating lunch and there's kids inside in one of the inside rooms, there needs to be an adult with those kids. So no children in any room without an adult. I'm going to be honest, this room is both exciting and extremely nerve-wracking to me. This will be where any children ages 13 and up can have lunch together. It is also where a few of their classes are. This is where the 15 and up art class will be. Right here, there's a table, chairs, a sink. Okay, then we have ping pong. Hi, Hannah. We have ping pong, foosball, and pool. During lunch, they are allowed to play these. They need to be played how they are meant to be played. And I need at least 3 adults in here if they're being played. 1 for ping pong, 1 for pool, and 1 for foosball. This room is monitored, so if anything gets broken, we'll look back at the video and determine who should pay for said broken items. The stage is 150,000% off limits for obvious reasons. Again, for lunchtime, only kids ages 13 and up are allowed in this room. If you're a lunch helper, you make sure kids are eating in designated areas and then clean up those areas and make them ready for classes before third hour starts. This means wiping down tables and making sure there's no trash or food on the floors. Next up is end of day. So children in the preschool classes and younger need to stay in those rooms, in their 4th hour rooms, until an older sibling or parent come to get them. Those rooms will also require probably the most cleanup because we'll be wiping down toys and like resetting their classes. So as kids leave, the aides and teacher can be tidying up and everything in there. Children in the 5-year-old class through the 9-year-old class need to all go to the atrium with their belonging, with whatever they have from their 4th hour class. They need to take it with them to the atrium where we will have end of day helpers there monitoring chaos basically. And that is also where all of the things your children have made or created or whatever that need to be taken home, they will be there in that room underneath a sign for their class. And you or your children need to go to that section and grab their stuff and go home. We don't have a huge indoor play area like we used to, and so at the end of day, if the weather's nice, you can come pick up your kids and then go play outside for a little while together. And if the weather's not nice, then at the end of the day, if you are not a cleanup helper, you just grab your kids, grab your stuff, and head home. We'll be leaving around, I think we get out of our class at 2:45. So it's not a huge cut to our day. If you're teaching this semester, you should put the majority of your stuff in the room you teach in or on the floor that you teach. Otherwise, you can find a spot that you want to put your stuff when let your kids know where that spot is in the halls or entryways up against a wall. Okay, a few random odds and ends, I guess. So if you teach 4th hour, it is you and your aide's job to clean that specific room. We'll have end of day helpers come check it or come help you, but you need to reset that classroom. I'll have pictures as to how they need to look, and then you wipe the tables and that kind of thing. So that is kind of y'all's responsibility if you are a 4th hour teacher. There are restrooms all over. Almost every class downstairs has its own private restroom and sinks. And then upstairs, there's a set of restrooms. If you teach 2nd hour, it'd be really great if you work into your day, into your class, to have them just wash their hands with soap and water before you let them free for lunch. Similar to Obstacle Warrior, like if they're older kids and they can go to the restroom themselves, like let them go, and then just kind of keep your eye out to make sure they come back. We have enough floats kind of walking around that can keep an eye on them. If they're younger and they need bathroom assistance, you either text a mom, text me, or if there's enough aides in your room, have an aide get the mom. But nobody does bathroom duty for anybody except their own children. Okay, there's a little space at the top, on the top floor. As soon as you come off the elevator, it's to your left, or if you come up the stairs, it's like straight ahead and on your right. I'll show a picture of it here. That space is where, if you are floating or when you're floating, that's where you go. At the beginning of that hour, just go to that space that I'll show in the next slide and wait. And if I have somewhere I need you to go, I'll tell you. And if not, you can either hang out there and chit chat, or go somewhere else, or find a class that you're interested in looking at and go watch that class. I just came off the elevator. We have this sitting area here, a women's bathroom here, and on the other side of that over there is a men's bathroom. This area looks down onto the atrium, and now I will go tour these other rooms. The end of the red hall in door 3, which is room 182, we are allowed to store things for the duration of CoOp, and we will have an area in this room with our things labeled for CoOp. This is stuff I cover if you read the document you're signing on the link in this email. But we're in a church. We're a pretty conservative group of people. So let's not have dress code issues. Stomachs should be covered. Shorts should be a reasonable length. I don't really recommend skirts because we do PE. Boys should, and girls, everyone, should have graphic t-shirts that are appropriate in content and language. Everybody should have footwear that allows them to do PE. I don't want to have to be the dress code police, but I want us to have a good, I want us to be presentable and to have a good reputation, both within our group and without our group, as we, interface with members of the church, staff and stuff. If necessary, I will bring a giant t-shirt and a big pair of drawstring pants. And if your kids wear something inappropriate, they can wear my giant outfit over it. But I'd just rather it not be an issue, please. So language really hasn't been a problem for CoOp, very much at all. So I'm just going to briefly cover it. Remind your teens that they have little people around them. So depending on what they're talking about, it's not just language, it's also content. One thing that is age appropriate for 15-year-olds is not age appropriate for 7-year-olds. So just that social awareness of who's around them. And moms, sometimes we need to be a little bit more aware of who's eavesdropping or the language we use. But overall, it has not been an issue much for CoOp, so just a gentle reminder. Here's what you do if you are an end of day helper or a 4th hour float. The rest of this video shows room by room what the church looks like. Here in the infant room, you'll come in our entrance, you'll come down this hall into the worship center and into this room right here. So we can bring, we've got some floor mats in the other rooms, some little toys, that kind of thing, but it's just a quiet room for the infants and the infant lead teachers. Turned left coming into the main entrance, and this is one of our hallways. It makes a big U. There's 2 classrooms down here. And then all these doors will remain locked. Now we kind of enter the younger kids wing of CoOp. These classrooms here. So this is our younger wing. I'll point to it on a map. The doors are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. However, we are using the room numbers, okay, on the plaques. So there we go. This is the baby's room. We can use some of these supplies for the infant room. Two-way glass. Mommies can look in, but the babies can't see you. Okay, then we're gonna walk through here, through the baby's room and into the toddler room. Okay, this is the toddler room. As long as you put toys back, you can share between these 2 rooms. We'll have pictures of what the room looks like, that it needs to be put back for 4th hour, at the end of 4th hour. Okay, this room is one of the rooms that leads to the playground. $190. Okay, we're gonna come in here. That door leads to the playground. Okay, and this door leads to room 191, which looks like this. Sink, tables. Okay. Hooks, shelves. Semester 185 and 184 they are being used primarily for PE, so we will move these tables and chairs to the side. This opened, and we will only be in this room if weather outside is rainy or icy, slick, muddy, that kind of thing. So this is a big room that will be very open for PE. You have your own toilet and sink. Again, ball activities inside are a no-go for indoor PE days. 73 has a yellow door, comfy seating, as well as 3 large tables and a sink back there. It also has a whiteboard that you can utilize. The red doors, this is room 180. Pretty open. This will be open. It's a divided room. Open room. Some of the time this open will be used for PE, and other times it's used for a classroom this semester. That door does lead to one of the outside playgrounds. You have a sink and a whiteboard. Okay, 181. Here's the other divider. It'll divide or open, whatever, and then these tables, if you're in here for PE, can be moved, and then at lunchtime we will close the divider and put the chairs back for the classes that are in here. Whiteboard and a projection screen. If you want to use that, we can talk and make that happen. 183. This is room 183. Whiteboard, although we won't need it for the classes that are happening in here, but room 217. We'll have chair, obviously there's lots of chairs, and there's a whiteboard, and there's a projector, and then first hour of the day, if you use this room, you will go ahead and set the tables up that are along the back wall. Set it up how you need it. There will be enough. Some classes will have 2 tables, and some of them will have 4, depending on how many students are meeting in the room. This is 218. Whiteboard, table, projector that you can project on the wall. These will be moved, and you will have one other table against the wall that you can set up. This is 219. It is not scheduled for use this semester, and it is going to be the designated napping room. If you have a child that you want to have nap, you can bring a pack and play or a stroller, and I will have a sound machine and a baby monitor. If a child is napping in here, we will put an adult in here to sit. Room 216. This is room 233. You'll come in. We've got chairs, so there will be a total of 4 tables in here. Some will be set up, some will not. If they're not set up, they'll be leaning against this wall here. There's a projector screen and a corkboard and tables. Room 234. So I know for some of these classes in this room we'll need a lot of floor space. So you just stack the chairs, move them out of the way for as much floor space as necessary. And there's 2 doors to enter and exit in this room. And projection screen. And there will be tables. This one has a round table in it, and then it'll probably have another long table as well. I'm now on the opposite side, so the elevator is right there. Okay, and that little nook there. Come here, there's the boys' bathroom on the left, and this is the stairwell we use to get back down. Somebody needs to use the cooking area for a class or for counter space or something. You walk into the worship center and you come into this door right here, and here's the kitchen. Pretty good space, counter space, and sink. Remember to clean up after yourself better than you do at home. All just soon after I came in the entrance. We have a mother's room here. It's got 2 rockers, a sink, and a changing area. It's pretty small, but you know, if you need it, there you go. There we go. Mother's room. Then you come down here and there's 2 classrooms. Room 152 and 153. They do have their own toilet. in here. It's a tiny toilet though. So if you don't have tiny people, have them go to the bathroom down the hall. This is room 153, as the door states.